Panthers are in an interesting situation. You'd think after losing the likes of Kickow, Coruscant, Crichton next year, that maybe their salary cap issues have been dealt with, but they might be forced into a decision soon. End of 2024, you've got those two, Dylan Edwards and Jerome Luai, up, and you can only imagine they're going to demand very big dollars, particularly Edwards.
Well, they are. Well, both of them are. Look, both of them. Luai is an Origin.
I understand that,
player.
but Edwards is on a lot less now than what he should be with his next deal.
Yeah, well, they've already got their $1 million player in Nathan Cleary. These two guys, if one's on $1 million, one won't be on much less. Okay, it's not going to be a big problem. The $1 million player, every club's got one just about now, and it won't be long till every club's got two, and then soon after that, three.
So, but are you saying they can keep both of them?
I reckon there's a chance, yeah.
I think the offers from rival clubs are going to be huge.
Because you think about it, they've got Isaiah, they've got Fisher Harris, they've got Moses Leota. They're all locked up long-term on reasonable money.
They're spine players.
I don't think $1 million will be enough.
They're not going to have the money to be able to pay both of them $1 million.
If you look at what Mitchell Moses just got offered from the Tigers, what Jack Wyden's going to get offered from the Dolphins and the Raiders, Jerome Luai is going to be earned in excess of $1 million on the open market. Yeah. And there will be a club that will give Dylan Edwards $1 million as well.
Clubs where I think clubs are getting to that stage where they can afford to carry more than one. So in some instances, more than two.
It's going to have to. They're going to have to.
Well, that's where the salary cap's heading.
They will have to.
Wasn't the cap going to be 15 million plus
if they ever work it out?
Well, it's 12.1 at the moment. It does go up incrementally.
It's gone up 24% rise this year. So it's been significant.
Who will be the more in-demand player? Let's say they both don't get their deals done.
Depends on the need of the club, doesn't it? Depends on the need of the club. Look, the market dictates a player's value. You can sit there now and we can, try and profitise what they get. Who knows? But
who would you keep if you can only keep one of them?
Dylan Brown.
Dylan Edwards.
Dylan Edwards. Sorry, yeah.
Yep.
Dylan Edwards, because he's. Look, I think the Panthers have got halves coming through.
Yes.
You saw they've got halves.
Well, this is the advantage Penrith have got is the richest junior rugby league nursery in the world. We've seen that procession line, how successful it is. So they will have another gun kid that they can.
Well, they had Katoa coming through, who I think was there ready to go. So they looked ahead 2 or 3 years down the track. They thought, Luai, we're not going to be able to keep him. So what we'll do is we'll have Katoa coming through, and he'll come through for much less on that junior sort of wage. But the Dolphins got under their guard and took him, okay? But there'll be another one coming through. Yeah. You can guarantee the one thing about the Panthers, they'll have another one coming through. They'll have another fullback too, no doubt.
Yes.
But if they're going to, I think Nathan Cleary is such a dominant player and so good in the halves that Edwards just brings something slightly different than what Luai would if you lost.
Edwards, isn't he the absolute perfect fullback for that team?
For sure.
Well, he's developed into that. I know there's a few years back, they was wondering whether he was sort of the, I don't want to say the weakly, but whether he's going to be the grand final premiership calibre fullback. But his progression has been outstanding.
He got the yips early doors in his career and was dropped back to reserve grade, but he's since come back, won 2 premierships and a Clive Churchill medal. So he's answered those questions. If he was called upon, like if anything was to happen to James Tedesco or whatever, he would not let you down in that arena.
Well, that's where he's at, isn't it? That's where he's got to talent-wise.
It would almost be worth, if James Tedesco does go down, you'd leave Latrell and Tommy in the centres and play Dylan Edwards at fullback. But I think on the open market, I think Jerome Luai is probably more valuable to another club. But at Penrith, I think Dylan Edwards is more valuable to that squad.
Halves are harder to come by.
Yes.
So that's probably why he might.
We saw Mitchell Moses get offered $1.5 million. This is a guy that's won 2 premierships, won a New South Wales Origin series, and took his country to a World Cup final.